items online, but you also have the flexibility of trying to protect Azir in the mid from the Xin Zhao LeBlanc combo. You can even play around Misfortune and Rel with the important objective fights.
Yeah, we're seeing that aggression kind of come through here. Ult.
Oh, the first ultimate from Xiaohao. It's a hit.
It is working out. Rio going to try and get something back. He's a level up here on Xiaohao, who of course does not have that ult available. And he lands the smite.
Okay, well, Rio is still level 7, but he doesn't have his support or his AD carry near him. Perukia forces the flash out of him with the Q. Magnastorm locks him down. Crescent Guard pushes 3 members back. OMG arrives, but not in time, because Xiaohao commits his own flash to ensure that Rio goes down.
CS in the jungle. Really well done from EDG to capitalize on some mistakes, and this is what we were talking about with OMG. Are they ready for this moment? A lot of young players that have not really been tested so far. It's not looking good in terms of their decision-making.
Oh, potentially under the tower. Woo! Haichao in the face of Perukia.
At this point, I think both of them could benefit from it in terms of their late game. When you talk about teams that aren't particularly consistent in the 5v5s, having those extra stats can be really useful, and OMG kind of recognized that. You call it out, Rafa.
But because Xiaohao shows himself on the bottom side of the map, that allows OMG to invest all their resources into picking up the Rift Herald, as well as using it to crash into the top tier 1 turret.
I mean, this is the play right now. Starry, got to be very careful under this tower. Looks like he is going to have some backup from Moham, but Angel!
Okay. It's a nice attempt by Angel, gets the flash out of Moham. They'll be able to at least try and punish it the next time they see this Nico alone. Or
Xiaohao's just going to take this time to start taking some camps, and this has been one of the most passive Pantheon games you will ever see. No skirmishing happening right now, just going to be yet another macro trade.
The race that we're in, and I'm not sure if you saw the interview with, I think it was Griffin and Sven, but they were talking about just like how jungle in this meta and this year feels so much more farm intensive and farm resourceive. Like, even if you're not playing like a super hard carry champion, if you don't farm your camps, it feels like the game is slipping away from your grasp and you don't feel nearly as strong as the other champion who is just power farming like crazy.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's really important to make sure you have gold to actually fight in this current meta. And Xiaohao has that. He's got the 2 items completed, something that Rio has not yet done on the Xin Zhao. This is about a 500 gold lead for the 2-kill Pantheon. This is potentially the time to use it, though. You're talking about a comp that really spikes in the mid game. OMG are just going to be able to walk down and trade these mid lane turrets to get even more gold. One thing in this comp, and that could be a bit of an issue in the later part of the game. Misfortune not exactly known for her stability in the later parts of these games, but it's all going to come down to execution. Just some trade of side lane towers here. Angel going to get a bit more gold in the pocket.
Where's it coming from? It's behind, but we got more action in the mid lane. Leave under fire, gets knocked up. The cleanse is not going to stop him from going down, and he recognized that there was no point in trying to flash away, so he's just going to have to accept his death on that one. Meanwhile, the TP from Angel did not find Haichao. He escapes, and our OMG's just going to flip the Baron here at 21 minutes? I like this.
They absolutely can. Angel burned teleport on the bottom side of the map, and you killed all their gold in the AD carry. This is a Baron that is on the map to take for OMG, and they are pulling the trigger right now.
Xiaohao has flash available. If they can get into the pit, you can always try and 50-50 smite steal with the power of empowered Q and smite on your side as the Pantheon. ZDZ is going to get vision of the pit, but Moham holds both Angel and ZDZ at the door. They turn off the Baron. The Baron resets. Xiaohao jumps right on top of Rio, and the Crescent Guard pushes them momentarily before he eventually falls. ZDZ is 1v4 in the backline, is able to hold them all strong by himself, and OMG are forced to... checking to see if he could burn the flash out of the support. Emperor's Divide was not quite ready yet either. EDG start up the Dragon. This is the 3rd one of the game. If OMG somehow steal it, it would put them at soul point. Haichao is threatening on the right side. Curtain Call unloads. First bullet comes through. Second, third. Looking for the 4th. It's the smite from Xiaohao that secures the Dragon. And ZDZ is able to take... Better watch where you step in. Is Haichao. Not quite level 16, but does take a 50% chunk out of Angel's health bar. And Rio's here to assist on the play. Emperor's Divide pushes him back momentarily, but Haichao cleans up the kill. These are the picks they want to look for, but a collapse. Here comes the Avengers from EDG. Grand Starfall onto Harry, but he is here to turn the tides. ZDZ no longer has dominance. They could not fight this fight without their buttons. Crash down and Magnastorm onto 2, but it's the Palm Blossom that answers back, but the bullet time starts shredding the members of OMG as a response. Xiaohao still surviving, but one more bullet from Star and a flash away. OMG finally find the window they were looking looking for all game long, and EDG succumbed to the aggression.
No damage, no problem. We kill the Azir under tower. You mentioned it. Haichao finds the angle to get onto the primary carry for EDG, and from that point onwards, there is no damage. It's a very, very bad Pantheon ultimate onto the top side.
Finally getting that leverage that they had been desperately needing to pry open from EDG, who have been, for the most part, playing a very patient, a very safe game. But one lapse in judgment. As we called it before, there are some ultimate buttons that were already down. You would think that EDG would just say, okay, you know what, Angel dies here. We're not going to overcommit onto this play. We'll just wait for him to come back up and we can try and punish at the Baron. That's not the case. And now they're in the situation where they're starting to lose an inhibitor structure off of the siege. Angel was pushing on the top side of the map. ZDZ is behind them. He popped Dominus. Who is he going to go for? Angel's on the left side flank. Rio pushes them away with the Crescent Guard. But Starry has already popped Perukia, and now it's a 5-on-4 in favor of OMG instead, so they can resume the siege into the inhibitor.
It's super uncoordinated from EDG. They are marching down into the base right now, and they can keep going. They killed the Rel. These are towers that are in danger. OMG might not want to stick around too long. EDG going to try to capitalize on maybe some miscommunication, but it's just going to be a ton of gold going into the pocket of OMG as they continue to siege down mid.
They jumped right onto the mid lane. Oh, but Xiaohao's the first one that gets pumped. Harry's way too tanky on the Cassante, not able to get a kill back or a trade in time. It does stop the siege for now, but that allows OMG to get a free access to the dragon, and that's going to give them soul point.
This is huge for OMG. We talked about Soul being big for them earlier on in the game. Felt like that was starting to slip away from their fingers, but a couple of big plays, one gigantic team fight get them right back into it. Soul point acquired, about a 3.5k gold lead now for OMG.
8 stacks on the Dark Seal. I'm just waiting for him to feel himself a bit and build that Medjai's to really seal the deal on this game. ZDZ's Sterix Gauge is popped off of the pressure from this LeBlanc. We called it. At the beginning of draft came in, we were very excited to see this LeBlanc come through and for OMG to just recognize their strengths.
For everybody. EDG kind of have to start feeling like they're pressured to pull this trigger. Minute 30 on Baron. Here we go.
Oh, there's the trigger pulled. Magnet Storm into the bullet time, but it's a GA exchange by Rio as he flashes away to safety. Harry is able to hold the line for the rest of EDG members. And unfortunately for them, they get a GA popped in exchange for Perukia's life, who will not be able to return to the Rift for another 30 seconds. It seems like it's enough time to at least stop. Another re-engage. It's from Xiaohao into the back line. Mohan with the Pop Blossom doesn't find anyone. Angel is trying to look for the 1v1 against Starry, but he loses because spears don't beat guns. But EDG are going to continue the push anyway and force the back line away as Haichao goes in a little too low. Almost going down to Leaves bullet.
Yeah, very notable. Starry actually picks up a Guardian Angel of his own for this next upcoming fight. This Jhin gets to play so aggressive from this point onwards. It's going to do so much damage in these fights. Perukia going to look for a flank, but they're just fighting without him.
He's going to get spawned on the traps here. Bullet time doesn't get much value, but ZDZ flashes into the back line. Rio tries to hold them back. Mohan with the Paw Blossom on to 2. Leave is caught in the middle of everyone, and Leave is trying to do his best to survive. Locket Shield keeps him up for one more kill before he goes down. Story, his GA has been slain on Haichao. I don't know if he can bail out his AD carry from this one as Angel stabs him to death. Rio on the other side. ZDZ gonna try to lock him down. Haichao trying to pull EDG members off of his jungler, but he gets slain anyway. And OMG's late game is starting to fall apart. EDG are clutching it up when it matters most.
Rafa, we have a certified banger on our hands for game number 1. The back and forth action as EDG starts to take this dragon is incredible. Haichao is here though, and they have low health bars. This could be scary. They can't stay on this dragon.
Angel's forced to go in. Yeah, Angel! The only way out was forward in that instance. Had the trust in the shield off of the shifting sands. Gets the better end of Haichao.
An already dead Cassante. This fight is over. It's a fantastic start for EDG despite not being in a perfect position for it. And as you can see in picture, they're not just going to get the dragon, they're going to get the Baron too.
Rio cannot get into the pit. No flash available just yet. And GA was already expended in. Now that he has both Mercury Crushers as well as the Banshee's Veil. He can split push quite safely, and the rest of EDG are trying to push through mid lane into the tier 2 turret.
Yeah, they are doing so successfully. This mid turret will not stand for much longer, so they continue their siege on the top side as well. Just so much damage coming down. EDG have a ton of tools to be able to collapse here. OMG have to answer this quickly. They're going to lose their entire base.
I mean, Angel has just completely destroyed 2 structures back-to-back in one swift sequence. And he's poking and prodding Harry, trying to support this 2 cannon-empowered Baron minion wave. EDG pushing through the mid lane. Angel is threatening to collapse. He regroups with the team, ready to just get a couple of auto attacks in and knock out this inhibitor tower in the mid lane. ZDZ occupying Haichao's attention, gets chunked out, does not have TP, so that's going to be the end of EDG's siege. Being called back by his team, since EDG are about to start marching up to the inhibitor structures in the bot lane. Tier 2 turret did not last that long. And Haichao now here to defend.
Form of OMG progression in the mid lane here.
EDG are forced to give up a lot of their vision control that they had in that bottom jungle quadrant once Xiaohao was spotted looming over the top side of the map. Rest of EDG now taking up stock here in the bottom Dragon River, getting ready for that dragon spawn. TP comes in from Haichao, looking to flank on the leave on the left side. He's caught up! He pops the misfortune! Mohammed into the backline with a pop blossom, trying to follow up an Angel next. It's all into him to provide the damage now. ZDZ and Xiaohao and Perugia trying to push on forward and provide space for the Azir, but the front line is quickly falling. The Croc is forced to flash backwards. The Sterix Gauge cannot save him! Angel, can he be a hero? 1v5. Can he find the angle? It's not gonna happen today! Haichao comes up huge for OMG at the 41-minute mark, and OMG are gonna push in to pick up game 1.
No gold lead, no Azir, no problem for OMG. They end up making it count in the biggest moment, winning the fight and taking this first game.
Carries on their side because Corki, short range compared to other hyper carries in the other stages of the game. But for Owen, just mind your business, farming a wave on the top side of the map, or if you're just trying to get a wave crash in as mid lane and then suddenly, boom, arrow hits you in the face, stun for 2 seconds, and then sets up a nice Talia combo. Leave might be in trouble. Forced to flash away. Starry's just going to flash after him, but great Cosmic Binding for Perugia. Still not enough. Perugia might be able to at least get a trade kill, but it's still first blood in the pockets of OMG's AD carry.
And that is the Ashe Seraphine that we are looking for. The combat pressure coming out of this 2v2. That is a really big pickup. Xiaohao in the area. Moham is overextended.
Moham has flash available. Would have to... Oh, but the setup with the Cosmic Binding guarantees the EQ flag and drag knockup. And Moham knows he ain't going anywhere. It's the second kill picked up for EDG.
It looks like such a good play for OMG at the start there with Starry picking up first blood, and it still is very, very good. Starry in a spot where he's going to be able to really pressure at this lane phase and push this Corki down, kind of force the Bard to be a little bit less mobile on the map, but a kill for Jarvan accelerates that champion quite a bit, even if it delays his jungle rotation just a tad. We're going to see a potential contest here over Scuttle.
Both junglers, level 4. Flag and drag right onto the Vi to begin it. And he interrupts. Oh, great use of the flash to stop the Vault Breaker from Rio getting over the wall. He flashes over to Moham, gets the shield thanks to the W. But another flag and drag keeps him in range to knock his lights out. And now Leave is getting ready to join the fray. There is still a flash available on Moham, so he can walk out safely. But EDG, they're the ones with the early beatdown so far, as Leave is just going to vouch forward because they've got a magical journey and a flag and drag on a flashless Ashe. That means that Ashe has been taken down. Funds available for any incoming roots off of the Seraphine. Does not need it. And Xiaohao is just going to get first bite on this dragon. And Rio, without a flash, cannot go over the wall and contest. It would be a one-way trip.
Yeah, he is not going to be taking that trade deal. He'll be happy to give up this first dragon after everything that's happened on the bottom side of the map. Ari as well, shading over towards this dragon, just makes it completely free, and level 6 is acquired for this Jarvan. Could be looking for a play.
Magical Journey into the Cataclysm. That forces the flash out of the Seraphine, but Starry could still be in trouble. Just not enough damage so far for Perugia and Leave early on to go for that one shot. It's a nice Cosmic Binding snipe, just continuing to chunk out this Ashe.
Just continues to get worse, though, for the Ashe. Level 4 now. About to hit level 5, but Xiaohao is still in the area. He's blown the ultimate. Might not need it for this gank under tower if they want to go for it. Health bars are pretty low. This would be a decently risky gank, but I'm trying to bait him out.
I mean, even Angel is ready for the play. Haichao preemptively roamed over to protect his bot lane, but now the Spirit Rush from Angel forces him off. Weaver's Wall at the ready. Can he try and look for it? Oh, wait a minute. Ashe already died to Perukia. Haichao is looming around the shadows, but knows that he cannot save Moham from certain death. Advantage. It probably will just still be a locket to negate a lot of the bursts coming in. Rio immediately pulls the cease and desist, and Haichao was waiting with the Weaver's Wall. And poor Xiaohao is like, my bad, guys. I did not realize they were going to send the whole Avengers there. And Xiaohao's just waiting. Wait a minute. If everyone
they're
leaves...
backing.
They're basing. They have no idea. It's all once Moham connects the recall. Xiaohao feels confident enough to just look for Starry off the play. Encore stops him for now. Two-man Cosmic Binding from Perukia, and he gets his 4th kill of the game. Moham might be next on the platter. Rio cannot stop this Jarvan from wrecking mayhem in the bot lane.
The hidden Jarvan.
And coming in. First item on this board. Tempered Fate. Immediate flash by Haichao, but he's going to continue the chase. He has a wall angle, potentially. Cosmic Binding does not connect the stun, but Angel and Xiaohao are here to follow up on a flashless Talia. And without any mid lane...
To play around these objectives, Rio is going to queue into the pit. He's stuck here. If they did want to look for a play, bot lane is pushed up, and so they do have some protection, but... Haichao's the target.
Oh boy. Encore as a response saves Haichao's life for now. Angel doesn't quite have the Spirit Rush. Oh boy, Xiaohao sent it. And this should guarantee at least one dragon over to OMG in the early game, but Angel and Perukia gonna see if they can at least play interference, forcing the flash out of Harry's Rumble, leave, occupying 2 members' attention.
To play these front-to-back 5v5s, Harry picking up a kill there, you know, is going to matter for some of these late-game fights that end up coming around if they can manage to get there, so... See what Perukia wants to do. He's walking into a couple people.
Oh, Perukia, and can't get the magical journey in time. The cease and desist goes through, and it's enough damage for Star to pick up a
for EDG here in Perukia. Not as bad of a game state for OMG as maybe you would have thought just a couple of minutes ago.
Potential 4-man Adventure Squad. They're looking for Harry's Rumble. They know that he doesn't have flash thanks to Angel popping it earlier, and it's just too easy for EDG to get...
OMG want to try and counter that elsewhere on the map. For now, it's just going to be a tower falling. EDG getting even more gold into the pocket of their Ahri. Very important for the late game as well. If that Ahri lands 1 charm onto this immediate fights, but there is a use for the Ashe if you can find those big arrows and potentially get gold into the pockets of things like Rumble in the late game.
Alright, sorry. Uh-oh, Temper Fate right onto Ashe. Cosmic Bind doesn't necessarily connect the stun, and he's firing back with the arrows, slowing him down, giving Moham the ability to look for an encore right on top of Angel. Forced to use the Spirit Rush just to get out of harm's way, but Rio almost sends it. Haichao looking for the raw seismic shove, does not find it onto Angel, but he is forced to recall. TP is coming in from ZDZ to try and protect this tower from falling, but the Rift Herald already gets the work done, and OMG have successfully opened up the center part of the map.
That's exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to this Ashe in terms of being useful. Gonna look to take this dragon as quickly as possible.
Hawkshot will reveal the dragon has been started. So is Angel trying to help look for a pick. Going through the dragon pit. Xiaohao secures it. ZDZ is the first one knocked up. Forced to flash away. Cease and desist takes him into the middle of L5, forcing Rio to flash back into his own team. And they're just pelting away with arrows. Xiaohao into the Cataclysm, locks down Harry into the pit, but ZDZ is the first one to fall. Rest of EDG now contemplating whether they want to continue the fight or not. Charm goes wide, and the rest of OMG, 4th dragon of the game. Angel trying to take care of this wave on the top side. Is there a play here in this barren river?
We gotta watch for the Tempered Fate. Could be huge here.
Good sidestep by Starry. Call the Forge God is going to slow him down. Remember, there is no flash on this Ashe. The arrow stalls the engage for now. No damage for the time being. Xiaohao sends it. Finally, they clip the Ashe, but Xiaohao goes down as the cost. ZDZ now trying to run away from the rest of OMG's death squad as a 4-man band trying to take this GOAT out of the game. And EDG lose out on both of their main frontline members as well as leaves Corki.
It is so scary to try and engage into this OMG team, and the lack of decisive decision-making coming in from EDG is going to cost them. Baron has been started from OMG, and they do not have their jungler alive. EDG are just going to be in a spot where they have to hope and pray they can stall this long enough. I don't know if Angel and Perukia have what it takes right here.
Baron does shred a lot of armor and MR, but between Angel and Perukia, I don't think it's gonna be enough to look for a punish. Orb of Deception over the wall. No smite steal available, and no gimmicks will be had as Rio sends it on to Perukia. The magical journey takes them over the wall. He's a little too tanky to take down right away, flashing away from the equalizer. Xiaohao's there, but a seismic shove flick from Haichao clips the support of EDG.
Harry continuing to try and push out the mid lane here. The bot side just ends up pushing forward down onto this tower. It's going to be that dropping of the tier 2 on the bot side with that Baron buff. The split push going on effectively here. The 4-1 working out for a comp that is very much built to be aggressive in this kind of way. 4K gold lead. Importantly, though, look at where that gold lead is. Yes, we talked about the 2.5K on Ashe. We've really, talked about Starry consistently throughout a lot of this game, but Harry is online. 1,500, 4 kills on this Rumble.
Weaver's Wall.
Weaver's Wall dropped into the mid lane.
On the other side. This time, the Corki makes it out alive. So 3 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. Xiaohao onto Haichao in the backline. Call the Forge God is going to follow up onto the backline as well, but Starry is hitting arrows after another. Not as much damage onto the front line. Flashing away from the equalizer. Everyone from OMG is going forward. Encore clips onto 2. ZDZ and Perukia caught in the ultimate. Xiaohao, one more flag of dragon to the backline. Looking to turn around with the Angel as he gets one more Spirit Rush reset off of the dead Seraphine and Talia. Seraphine is still alive, but EDG are not ready to throw in the towel just yet.
The one thing that can't happen for OMG happened. They got their AD carry clipped at the start of the fight. Unfortunately, it's just not enough damage coming out from OMG to be able to make that work. EDG are much more decisive in the way that they engage there, and they shut off a Baron push that could have been the end of the game. They still have some work to do.
The fact that ZZ lasted so long provided enough space and enough time for EDG to get second rotation of cooldowns and re-engage in these fights now that major buttons were expended by OMG. Xiaohao goes in, doesn't get the flag and drag, but locks them down with the Cataclysm. Flash is forced out of Harry. Xiaohao goes golden.
Angel.
And they're going to look for the play. Angel flanking for the left side. Rio forced to flash away. Angel's run out of Spirit Rush charges, but he gets one more reset, looking for Moham next. Charm not quite available. Rest of OMG trying to group up as well as the dragon. Can OMG even sneak a dragon while EDG potentially look to shift over to the Baron? Oh, Rio! Oh. Immediate pulls the trigger onto Angel! No more Ari. The Encore will clip with the 2 members. EDG is caught in the crossfire right on top of the equalizer. A massive sequence for OMG! And that's a free Baron if I've ever seen one.
What a play from OMG. They see the angle onto Angel, who's just way too far forward, and Rio, the rookie, pulls the trigger. He has turned around OMG's fate in this split, and he does so once again in this game. That is Baron going over. Yes, it is soul point exchanged for EDG, but it is a consolation prize at best for the game state that
EDG at least able to hold off one wave longer. OMG gonna ride in the next one. Perukia angling for a tempered fate. Just waiting for his time. EDG are just going to concede the inhibitor tower. Let the inhibitor on the top side drop as well. Baron buff will expire. And trying to see if he can link up with Xiaohao once he pulls the trigger on that Cataclysm on a flashless Ashe. Starry staying far back forward. Perukia caught by the Ashe Arrow! An immediate deletion from the game! And OMG are pushing into the base. Xiaohao deep behind enemy lines, looking for a flank. That could never happen now that their support is gone. EDG. Xiaohao's gonna send it anyway. This is a Hail
Got
Mary
Cataclysm.
attempt if I've ever seen one. He has to look for Starry. That's the only person that does not have a flash. Weave in the middle of multiple people. GA already expended. Angel's forced to Spirit Rush away as Rio comes back from the grave, ready to throw these hands and force Leave to flash backwards. OMG still standing strong as 5, pushing through the Nexus towers, but they cannot
take
the waves first.
Yeah, that's the hard part here. You want to talk about, oh, OMG, you know, they don't really have a comp that can, you know, play front to back. They don't have a ton of engage. It doesn't matter. You've got side lane control for days here. You're never
To
really
enter
going
through mid-river, 6,000 HP. It's not burning down fast enough. Rio gets into the pit, cease and desist. Rio, the rookie jungler for OMG, comes up huge, seals the Baron, and denies what could have been an EDG comeback in this game. CDZ gets dropped as well. OMG have to thank their lucky stars in Rio for tonight's series.
Rio, the OMG Academy player to come up and save the season for OMG, continues to pressure out everyone. He is proving that he is not just an upgrade, he is a franchise-defining player as OMG march on to the end here.
Xiaohao for the Cataclysm. Hail Mary attempt gets locked down. Stasis onto a couple members here, and it's just not enough. The Hail Mary falls flat, and OMG are pushing EDG. Backs against the wall as we're getting ready for match point in favor of not EDG, but it's OMG 2-0 in the series. Persistently. The flexibility in OMG's comp, I will say, comes from the recon and being able to decide, does he want to go forward with a Nocturne? Does he want to lean backwards? Oh, Perukia's back. Rio, does he look for it? Can he at least smite the Grump? Oh, it resets the aggro! Oh boy, Rio. I love your style, but this is what happens when you're playing with the big boys, and Angel is gifted first blood. But Haichao is clearing the wave so that he can join up next. Rio is able to follow up on a Moham Grand Entrance. Looking forward, try to follow up an Angel. A little too aggressive. No one else can follow up on the play. Ignite is ticking down. Realm Warp is going to reposition Angel to flank on the left side. Flash is coming out from multiple OMG members. Xiaohao, Ding still level 5, but is able to clip Rio in the first part of the fight. Perukia sends it with the Zenith Blade. A Shield of Daybreak will hit Star in the face, and Lead flashes forward. Just needs one more bouncing bomb and finds it on Moham's head. On pretty much every single possible flowchart that could have occurred, not a single kill goes their way to stem the bleeding of this advantage that EDG now have on their side. Thankfully for them, Rio is able to pick up all 3 grubs for themselves, so at least there's some consolation prize at the end of the day. And Starry Moham gonna try and pressure ZDZ under the tower. Paranoia into the Grand Entrance, but great reposition with the public execution. Somehow finds Starry through the darkness, and CDZ flashing back to the safety of this turret. Well played by the top laner.
Both junglers are going to be here in the bot lane. If this turns into a 3v3, not going to be particularly good for OMG. I imagine they're going to want to try and avoid this fight.
Yo, Moham? Okay, well, I'm not sure what he saw, and Starry is definitely seeing stars after that supreme display of talent. They're able to at least pick up 1 kill trade. Perukia dies at the hands of Starry under the tower. And Rio is here to at least defend the turret from certain death. Wow, it's a lot of damage on to Leave. I wasn't expecting that burst to come out. Harry's also here to follow up with the play. Xiaohao is able to trade on to Rio, and now needs to make the grand escape. Harry does not have a flash after he already burned it. Some other potential sources here from Moham with his Battle Dance shield, and even the Soul Furnace from Sion.
I was about to say, a lot of shields on the side of OMG. Makes a lot of sense to itemize like that. Fortunately, OMG can't keep control of the river. You have to be really, really worried about Angel and the damage he can output at this point in the game. It will be that Dragon kind of making his way there.
Thankfully, Hextech portals allow the rotations to be quicker for both teams. 6,000 HP on Rift Herald, still plenty of time for Xiaohao to get in, using the Grass Q to cloak his approach. Sion with the Unstoppable Onslaught, looking for the primary engage. Perukia leads the charge. Rio turns out the lights just to make sure that he can run away. Perukia is the first one to fall, but it's only Harry that steps up.
Wonky in general is going to eventually turn into something that works for them. That Herald is actually really relevant towards their comp. They don't always have the easiest ways to be able to pressure out. That's where those item spikes are really going to start to matter. We're going to see how this fight ends up starting, or how this entire exchange ends up starting. Moham just walking up, level 6 by himself, level 11 Kiana. See you later, buddy. On this Drake, it has spawned. Teleports are coming in. The fight is about to break out.
Perukia barely dodges out on the grand entrance. Harry pushes Angel off the dragon. So 5,000 HP. Xiaohao can't get back in. 4,000 HP. They have ZDZ pushing on the top side of the map. EDG willingly saying, you know what? Let's give the dragon. They have all 5 members here.
Standpoint, you know, this is a pretty classic Nocturne move to say, hey, I'm not going to be able to kill anybody this game. Might as well build tank. It's understandable. That ultimate is still very useful regardless of how much damage can be done. Perukia is caught.
Rio tethers him with the fear. Perukia below 50% HP. Mega Inferno Bomb a little wide. No one hit as well. Decent to at least burn summoner spells, but Harry with the re-engage on the Angel, caught out by the unstoppable onslaught. Realm Warp not available anymore because it was interrupted, caught out by the Anivia wall. Angel cannot get bailed out in time by EDG. Everyone's now coming in as reinforcements. Xiaohao looks for the supreme display of talent, knocks Rio against the wall, but the carries for OMG are still alive, and Rio is somehow escaping with his life. ZDZ cannot get through Harry's Scion wall, and somehow...
Fortunately for EDG, it's not nearly enough to be able to pressure out that Baron, but it's certainly some gold going back into their pocket. 10 seconds on this dragon spawning. The pings are coming down. Soul point for EDG would be on the table as Leave. Ziggs does his thing and takes that mid lane tower.
Forcing them back. This is just crazy. They are behind 4.2 thousand gold, but they have better terrain shifting and shaping from the side now. ZDZ looking for a flank. Rio's just going to send it on to Leave. He's forced to flash over the wall. I mean, that's a Ziggs flash gone. Can OMG punish now for the remainder of the fight? ZDZ caught out by himself. Public execution into the back line. Starry voids the center point of the Mega Inferno Bomb damage, but Starry finally falls to Angel, and now the rest of ADG can push through. Harry, the mighty Scion, cannot survive this time around. The Realm Warp is going to allow them to continue the play, finding Rio, and Xiaohao comes up huge for the team, paying off the investment that they made into this Kiana with a massive double kill. They don't even care about the dragon. They're going to look at the Baron instead.
Beautiful fight from EDG. Leave has been criticized so much over the course of this series, really tearing apart OMG in that fight. They're going to get Baron off the back of that. Just very well played. Who cares about your Scion on the front line when we have so many tools to be able to access your AD carry? It's just once ZDZ goes in and hits Starry, there's no more damage left on the map to be able to deal with. Talked about that ultimate coming in from the Kiana. Just ridiculous amounts of damage. And of course, the follow-through coming in from the rest of EDG. If you're able to access that backline, it's completely free. Dragon is now going down in picture. That is Soul Point to EDG. They have Baron. They are one dragon off of Soul. It's looking pretty good for this team.
EDG now over 7,000 gold ahead of OMG.
It's from ahead and can really be, a fly from behind in terms of the damage that it outputs. Let's not forget, this is the first unique champion that Rio has played in this series. He played 4 champions in the regular season. All 4 of them were picked in the first 2 games. He had to move off of that. The Nocturne was the choice, and it's looking
for ZDZ.
Easy the target, though.
The tether and the fear. Locks him down momentarily for now. Moham tries to look for the grand entrance. Great use of the public execution. Dodges out on the knockup, but ZDZ finally goes down. Big shutdown going over to Haichao's Anivia, but Xiaohao finds the flank onto Starry's Varus. One major carry gone from the squad. OMG Harry is caught out by the Solar Flare. Perukia locks him down with the Zenith Blade. They're cut off by the Anivia wall, so they cannot follow up on the engage quite yet, but OMG health bars are blinking. Haichao, the only relatively healthy members left standing. Decent stun off of the Q and keeps them back with the wall, but EDG are pressing their advantage and ready to lay the siege down on this bottom inhibitor tower.
Yeah, they are continuing to push. OMG with a desperation play to try and find ZDZ. Caught out, just not able to find it. The Realm Warp able to salvage it all. Perukia could be looking, I think they just want this tower, but it's going to be hard to take.
Perukia is tanky. Is he tanky enough, though? Unstoppable Onslaught lands the decimating smash for the follow-up knockup, and EDG's support goes down. There's no objectives to potentially contest, so not the biggest punish that OMG could have hoped for, but Rio pops the darkness, but you don't really want to go in on that when you have that low of a health bar.
On both, coming back up onto the map, it'll be Soul for EDG, Baron as well. See if they can get there.
Perukia, no flash available on the Leona, and caught behind the Anivia wall, cannot escape. EDG down their support again for ZDZ is angling himself on the left. Starry throwing out some poke here. ZDZ getting ready to approach. Public execution at the ready. Dragon has spawned. It is Hextech Soul for EDG if they can secure it. Xiaohao is on the flank, looking to loop around the back end of the Dragon Pit. If he can flash up... Whoa, whoa, oh, no! Oh, the Supreme Display of Talent is a complete whiff! Can they still win the fight after? The Nocturne turns out the lights once again. Moham is the first one popped. Rio is looking for leave onto the back line. He's isolated once again. Haichao is able to pop. Perukia in the back. Story falls. Haichao goes golden, flashes over the wall. Xiaohao is trying to look to crack this egg. Rio now forced to run away, and Angel will run him down anyway. Xiaohao scrambles the egg, and even with a complete whiff on the Supreme Display of Talent, it does not matter. OMG lose all 5, and EDG will push this to game number 4.
No ultimate, no problem for Xiaohao. It was all calculated. The Scion has to stand there and go, well, I'm so tanky I can't die, but my entire team is going to die instead. As EDG take down the inhibitor, they're going to take down the base. They're going to keep themselves alive here. It's a really well-played game. They've still got a lot to work to do in this series.
Dominance on IG last year, all about the Trinity Force build, and then using the power of a lot of those bruiser items early
in this game. If he wants to go that route, could definitely be a pretty big problem overall for OMG in the late game, as Harry could be in danger under his tower here.
There's no flash on this Gnar from before. Pillar, just for the easy chomp into the takedown from ZDZ. First blood for the Nidalee. But here's Rio to try to turn it around. Xiaohao still has doesn't have flash available anymore. I take that back. Passive has been procced, and Haichao forced to use the Fate Seal just to get over the wall in time. Rio is slain, but ZDZ is now taking up turret shots, but Haichao cannot get back to pick Yone. I started going through my head of, like, what other AP champions you could have picked for yourself, and how there's been a lack of Dusk and Dawn junglers. Okay, we're gonna hold this point. Rio is just getting his ass beaten down right now. Oh, oh no! Turn off the camera. Just go to game. Many a Zac to know the safe range at this point in the game. Xiaohao, however, is lurking around the corner, and Rio cannot contest for this dragon. Fight breaks out. 2v2. Lee forced to cleanse. Flashes out of the Moonlight Vigil. And, yep, see, exactly. You watch the Zac wind up the elastic slingshot and say, now sit your ass down. Here's a pillar. Countered.
Man, it's looking tough for the Zac right now. He's stayed in the area, though he's still looking. He is not on vision. He's going.
What? Okay, he catches him off guard. There's no chance for the pillar to interrupt him this time. And you know what? Rio gets paid. Persistence is rewarded, but just with a bite down from the back. Xiaohao's going to trade it, but Starry will at least pick it up. And OMG, we may not believe in the composition, but they are pushing through and trying to make it work anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty big play overall. Again, I kind of believe in the idea for OMG in the late game. They just need to get there. Getting gold onto Starry definitely helps that out. So he continues to trade with Perukia here on the bot side, doing so much damage. You know, they prioritize this Aphelios as a take. They prioritize very heavily in draft. Again, I can see the vision. I can see the late game here. Hook landing.
Whoa! And Starry definitely sees Perukia dead on his screen. Moonlight Vigil from a nice Thresh setup combo by Moham eliminates Perukia from the Rift for 8 seconds. And Rio catches him on... Oh!
Very, very close. Very close, Leave. You got to be super careful at this point. UTB farming up. First item completed for Xiaohao as well. Expect the Trundle to be active with that ultimate available.
Xiaohao is now the strongest member on the Rift. Flash forward from Starry. He just wants to eliminate Lee from the game right here, right now. But just not enough damage. Barely walks out alive. Xiaohao in the 2v2 skirmish with ZDZ just taking the turret, and he's able to fend them off by himself. Rio's forced to flash away as the Subjugate was coming in and sapping his HP bar.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Zac. Right, some tools as EDG's bot lane could be getting baited.
Elastic slingshot onto 2, and Rio's AP Proto Belt Zac lands the mark to set up Starry for 4 kills total in this game. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's working out for OMG.
It is absolutely working out. Leave and Perukia just continue to...
And unfortunately for Rio, Zac, he is not able to make it out over the wall. There's a TP from ZDZ dealing with Haichao while Angel finishes off Rio in the passive. Does not connect the spear, but ZDZ, if he can get back into Cougar form, cannot do it in time and execute Haichao. He makes it out alive.
Yeah, that is a decently big
Gun rotation that he has. It could be a one-shot onto any of the squishies from EDG. Second dragon is secured for OMG, so they have a decent dragon stack.
He can just immediately stop the Aphelios from being able to play. Still plenty of ways for OMG to figure it out. Hook lands.
Oh, Perukia! And because he is stunned by the death sentence, he cannot interrupt the elastic slingshot with his wild growth. Comes out a little too late. Starry now for OMG to be able to force reliable engages because her engage is ult dependent. Not the same here for Rio. He can always just use a basic ability to find long-range engages, and they're burning down this dragon. No chance for Xiaohao to contest. OMG are at 3 dragons.
To 1v9 these fights. They're kind of losing in gold almost everywhere else. Xiaohao, of course, still up in gold, but not notably is Moham again.
Play. Oh, doesn't find leave with the prediction on the death sentence, and Moham is overextended. ZDZ comes in and tears him apart. Rio could be next as he's pulled the Proto Belt into the elastic slingshot. That was an insane combo. Unfortunately, Starry and Harry cannot follow up just quite yet. And Angel completely eviscerates the pile of goo on the floor. OMG. Now down without their support. No jungler. EDG are going to rip this Baron.
OMG, they're committing to this play. They're TPing in. I don't understand. They've overcommitted and they're about to lose Baron for it.
Haichao still has Fate Sealed available. He needs to pull off a miracle alongside Starry. 6,000 HP, there's still time. ZDZ caught up maybe by Harry out the back line. Haichao goes deep with the Fate Sealed, returns back. Harry cannot follow up. And Starry in a 1v1 against ZDZ getting zoned off by the Nidalee top. ZDZ making that investment pay off. Moonlight Vigil hits onto multiple members, but not enough damage
Brutal
to really...
siege down here by EDG. They are so tanky at this point in the game. Nidalee, it's going to be so hard to kill. Xiaohao, it's going to be so hard to kill. Lulu only makes that even worse.
There's the wild growth. Perfectly timed to interrupt the elastic slingshot, just like we talked about. And when EDG are ready and they are anticipating the Zac engage, they can deny it. Things have slowed down in the past couple of minutes. Haichao, oh no, no Fate Sealed available. And I don't think he's going to be able to flash out of this one. Q3 gets him barely over the pillar, and Angel slows him down long enough alongside Xiaohao's Trundle. Big pickup for EDG. There's no major objectives to take for the next 45.
Xiao is going to get caught. Moham. Very weird mechanic there. Going to essentially
gain control. Rio in darkness right now. Has an angle for an elastic slingshot if he wants to dive once the turret falls. Actually looks on the left side. Wait, Angel caught up. But Angel is able to push Harry back. Meanwhile, the wild growth is aggressing on the Starry. He's forced to flash backwards, and he cannot deal with the Trundle, who is just chomping and beating his head in with a giant club. OMG start to collapse once their major carries are eliminated from the rift. Haichao being flashed on by Angel, and he's trying to sustain off of the Yone passive, but it's just not going to happen. Rio and Harry take out ZDZ and Xiaohao in the crossfire. And somehow it just might be enough for OMG to still push through on this tier 1 turret and have the vision control necessary for both of these.
Baron, they are forcing this.
Xiaohao is going to be able to face check into the Baron pit. It is being ripped apart. Xiaohao cannot get in. Haichao stalls it long enough. Can he get in for this fight? Oh! Steals it away this time. Gets the better end of Rio in the Baron pit. And OMG's Baron attempt is completely foiled. EDG can deny Cloud Soul.
It's a great call. It's something that EDG have done to multiple teams throughout this split, which is to say, hey, you want the dragon? Great. We're going to rush.
Xiaohao has now gotten the better end of the deal and has been able to outperform his jungle opponent. Death sentence from Moham. 3-man flay into the box. Maybe enough to kill Perukia. It's a 1-for-1 support trade. Haichao is able to get the credit kill gold for it, but Leave over the wall is ready to push them back, and OMG can't do anything about it to punish an overextended Yunara. Everyone from EDG has got his back this time. They're pushing through with the Baron buff on their side. Inhibitors will fall through top and mid. Haichao, no Fate Sealed available. Q3 at the ready. Rio looking for a backline engage once again, but whiffs on the elastic slingshot, and he's getting pelted down by the auto attacks. Haichao contributes 1 Q3, but that's it. He's got nothing else to give. Rio will fall to ZDZ, and EDG are ready to take this series all the way to Game 5. Harry, Starry, and Haichao are the last ones standing to try and defend this base from crumbling.
Oh,
but
he's
Xiaohao
dead.
is forced to come back. Haichao on to ZDZ, looking for lethal. ZDZ just too tanky on the Nidalee to die. OMG do not lose the game just yet. But, and if you thought Red Gun was oppressive enough in terms of the lifesteal, he now has a BT. Rio is going to step up and be seen in vision. Haichao is not here. He has teleport available. Baron at 7,000 HP. Harry getting chunked out. Almost about to go Mega. Needs to use it for the HP pool. Arcane Storm available again. OMG are pushed out by Victor from Angel. But the Baron was dropped. It's fully reset. OMG, they're just pushing through mid. It's time to play a gambit. You have to now pull EDG back to you. As they can try and retreat through the bottom side jungle quadrant, but Moham is caught out by the pillar. That traffic cone cuts off his escape route.
Guarantees their gold lead even further. Not that gold really matters at this point in the game. You are really starting to get to full item builds for a lot of these carries as we reach
does not land on any target. Baron empowered cannon minion is destroyed. Pillar.
Oh,
Xiaohao is right onto Xiaohao. Can they one-shot him right here, right now? Starry throws up the Moonlight Vigil. Xiaohao survives. Harry's into the back line. Tries to look for Leave. Leave is getting eviscerated, but Angel trades onto Harry. It's a 1-for-1 so far. ZDZ might be isolated, but he's really tanking on the Nidalee, so does not die in one full spell combo. Rio trying to slow him down. Uses the smite just to get distance on him. ZDZ sidestepping another elastic slingshot, tries to flash away from the stretchy arms, but gets pulled in anyway. Angel pushing them back with the laser. Dragon not up for another 55 seconds. OMG are just trying to brute force this down the mid lane while they still have Starry, while they still have a numbers advantage. 4-3. EDG, they're gonna have to defend the base from crumbling.
There's 20 seconds left on these death timers. OMG have a lot of damage. They could potentially try to end the game here if they really wanted to.
Will they go for it? Oh my goodness, they're gonna try and go for broke. OMG have to solve for 13 seconds. It might not be enough. Rio goes back in for the engage. Elastic Slingshot on the 2. Haichao tries to follow up. Angel goes golden. He's about to get blasted by a Mohawk. Xiao's gonna fall next. No way it ends like this. CDC is still up. Leave is back up from the grave. TP is coming in. A full HP bar from this Nor will allow them to push him further.
Leave.
Rio gets his passive pop. Leave has to be a hero against the wild growth, but that's so much damage from OMG. You have got to be kidding me. OMG have just done the unthinkable. Coming back from a 9,000 gold advantage game, and they are still 5-man strong. They're gonna look to push it and close out the series. That's the ace. OMG persists through the impossible.